Right, welcome back. Day 3. Today we are looking at. We are learning to be aware of my attitudes towards people from different races. So, having a look at today's lesson, it's going to be focusing on racism, making sure not to be racist, having a looking at some examples, a little bit of unconscious bias, and then you have your task to do. So, first of all, what is racism? Now, obviously, we've covered this before earlier in the year, and you've covered it. You've covered it in previous years as well. So just try your best. Write down what you would define your definition of what is racism. Once you've done that, you then got this video to watch, which is the story of Sapphire. And when you've had a look at that link, then complete part 1 of your worksheet. So with the case of Sapphire, in that story, obviously she had a horrible time being bullied racially by the other child, and she grew her confidence and was able to overcome the bully that way and ignore his horrible words. But obviously there was a range of other things that she could have done that you can always do, in terms of tell a teacher or tell a member of staff within school. You can speak to a range of different people that we have, like school counsellors and Oliver's allies, as well as speaking to your parents. So you've always got options, things that she didn't come up with, or even just speaking to friends and asking them for help and advice in that situation. So the next thing that we're going to look at is to regards to unconscious bias. Now this is quite a difficult concept to understand, and there are some words in this video that I wouldn't expect you to understand completely, but I still think it's worth having a recognition of what this is and how important it plays a role in our lives. Right, so unconscious bias is a bit complicated, but hopefully you got the takeaway from it, which is basically sometimes people can act and behave in a way which can be seen as either racist or sexist when they don't really mean to, and it's important to recognize that you shouldn't do that, and you should be conscious that you don't have unconscious bias. And at the end of the day, everyone will have it to some extent, and so it's just being really careful about how you act, behave, and decisions you make to make sure that you're trying to stop your unconscious bias. An example myself was, I remember when I was about a teenager, the first time I saw a female bus driver. They didn't tend to be any female bus drivers, and the first one I saw, I remember being really shocked and surprised at the fact that there was one. But obviously there's no reason why women can't be bus drivers, and you have this picture, and there's a famous story about a bunch of blind men. So once upon a time there was a bunch of blind people, and they were walking across, and they all come across an elephant, and they all approach the elephant at different points. And because they're blind, they can't see what the object really is, or they can't see the animals, so they all come to different conclusions. And as you can see in the picture, the person who touches the your task today is all about having a think about and a discussion. You can write it down, or you can talk with people in your household about this. But what would you do in all these different situations? So if you were being bullied for racist reasons, if you knew someone who is being racially bullied, if you heard someone say something racist but you thought it was funny, does that make it okay? The bully was your friend. So what if it's one of your friends who's bullying someone else for racist purposes? What would you do in that situation? What if the bully was being racist to someone that you didn't like? So that person who's being bullied is someone who you consider not a friend or even an enemy. would you still stand up for that person, or would you not? What if you say something racist because you were angry and upset? How would you react in that situation? What steps would you take? Would you apologize? Would you just hope that people didn't hear you? And finally, if you thought it was okay to be racist because other people found it funny, if you're in a group and everyone's having a bit of a laugh and you say something and people are still laughing and no one calls you out, does that make it okay? So that's today's task, is really to have a think about all these different situations. Have a think, what if they really happened to you? How would you react in those situations? What would be the right thing to do? And really have a discussion with it with people around you and in your household. Anyways, I hope that goes well. Please contact us if you have any questions, or if you want to share anything, if you've got something really great from the discussions you had in your family. I'd love to hear them. And I look forward to teaching you tomorrow's lesson.